Hello and welcome to Emotional Health Coaching with Yana Deaver. Today I have a special guest. My guest is Tara Harrington and she is a fertility specialist and healer. Today we'll be talking about some of the emotional challenges that a couple may face as they begin their journey to conception, and we will offer some tools to help them through this process. Tara, thank you so much for being here and sharing some of your experience and your wisdom with us. My first question is, what is going to happen emotionally with a couple? What is something that they can expect? What are some normal feelings they can have? And share a little bit about what might be normal to feel when you're going through this process.
So the process, when you first start trying to conceive, and if you've been trying for a while and all of a sudden you start to realize that it's just not happening, that's when people start to feel things typically. And when a woman has her menses, each cycle after cycle, there's this feeling of possibly despair, maybe fear, panic, failure. And if it's been going on for 6 months or more, and depending on a person's age too, of course, you have to take that into consideration. If you're in the range of 40 and above, you're probably going to start to really feel the panic as the fertility window begins to close. But it's very normal to feel these things. Sometimes people will even feel shame because our bodies aren't doing what they're supposed to do. You can feel anger, and because you may not know a lot about your particular case, there may be questions and doubts around whose fault is it? Is it my fault? Is it my partner's fault? What's going on here? So because there's all these questions and there's no answers, people go into a deep emotional spin. And it's very normal to feel despair, shame, anger, resentment, fear, panic. Those are all very normal feelings.
Thank you so much for sharing that. I know that sometimes when emotions start coming and they're intense, we start wondering, what's wrong with me? Should I be feeling this way? Why am I so angry? Sometimes with my partner, sometimes with myself. So it's good to know that these are normal feelings and that a lot of couples who deal with fertility issues face these feelings.
Yes.
I think it's important when we are going through this roller coaster of emotions to know that we are not broken. There's nothing wrong with us. This is a really hard process to go through emotionally. Any other tidbits or information that you could offer about this emotional turmoil and how it could actually benefit us?
Okay. So I find in my practice when I'm working with patients that when people are really in the midst of despair, sadness, anger, resentment, you name it, all of the above that we discussed, there's an opportunity. And it's not a sentence. This is not meant to be a punishment to you, even though it feels like that. You can compare yourself to other people, but it's only going to make you feel worse. So the opportunity is to actually go in deeper within yourself. I definitely recommend seeking out other sources of help, whether it's emotional support, whether it's going into a fertility clinic and getting help from that aspect of it to learn more. But this is really truly an incubator for you to prepare for a baby to enter your life, however that happens. If you're willing to go within yourself and to look at your relationship, to really look at yourself, prioritize the things in your life that are of the utmost importance to you, and really healing, creating a space and a family life for a baby to come into that you're really ready. Think about all the people that get pregnant so easily. They never have to do that, and then they have to do it on the backside of it when there's chaos and it's crazy. You get to do this now. You're in a container, you're in an incubator to prepare to have a baby. It really doesn't feel that way, but if you go inside and you do the work, I promise you, you'll create an incredible life, an incredible family life for this baby to come into.
Yeah, I love that so much, Sarah. Thank you. as an emotional health coach, I know that when it's harder emotionally, that's when we need to increase our emotional self-care, to seek support, to find other people who are struggling with similar things. And so it's so great to hear you say this as a specialist, that it's the same thing, is take care of yourself physically, emotionally, spiritually, and let this time not be just a waiting time, but also a time where you invest a lot of energy in knowing yourself better, knowing your relationship better, knowing your partner better. You're already going through a time that is challenging, so this is, like you said, an incredible opportunity to tighten your relationship both with yourself and with your partner.
Absolutely.
Thank you for kind of spinning that, to see it in a different perspective, not just like this is a terrible thing that's happening. This is something that could be a wonderful preparation time.
It's an opportunity.
Fantastic. One of the things that we talked about before also that you had mentioned was staying curious about the process, as opposed to, a lot of shame. I know a lot of shame happens for couples who go through this.
Yes.
Why, we're struggling with this, we're not able to conceive. But remaining curious sometimes can really help in the emotional healing process of, okay, what's happening with our bodies? Let's keep finding out more. Let's keep looking information up. Let's keep talking with specialists. Remaining curious can take some of the pressure of the shame off and keep us open and keep us interested and keep us in a continuous process of enhancing our information and our knowledge about the topic.
Absolutely. I can't emphasize that enough. Staying curious and also understanding that there's so many aspects to this. It's not just the physicality. There's a mental and emotional aspect as well. We're not one way, we're not one-dimensional. We've got all these different dimensions happening at the same time. That's why it's so important to go deeper and go within and remain curious and be open to going beyond a diagnosis. And maybe much deeper than the diagnosis, so it's important. That's why having an advocate on your side, a professional of some sort that's going to hold your hand through the process and help you to remain curious and to look at it from several different perspectives.
One more question I like to look at is patience. How does patience play into this? Can you talk a little bit about this, how patience plays into the process?
Yeah, patience is a tough one, especially when it comes to fertility and conception. Patience is everything when it comes to infertility and someone struggling to get pregnant. You'll find that, it's a hard space to go into because you just want the result.
Right.
You want the result and you want it now. You wanted it yesterday, actually.
Yeah.
So I tell my patients, when you're going through this process, it's really important that you understand that it's a marathon and it's not a sprint. And if it ends up being a sprint, you're very lucky. And that's awesome, that's wonderful. But taking on the mindset and the state of mind that it really is a marathon will allow you to create that endurance that it will take to do this and to get through the process.
Thank you so much for being here today. I know this is such a big topic, and I hope to have you back and look in detail at some of the other steps and some of the other emotional issues that couples face when it comes to infertility. If you don't mind sharing a way that people can find out more about you, maybe your website or a way that you can be reached.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much for inviting me. I absolutely love your work and I really admire you, and I'm very excited to be here today. Again, my name's Tara Harrington and I'm with Well-Rounded Healing, and you can find me on my website. It's www.wellroundedhealing.com. You can email me, info@wellroundedhealing.com.